All right, day 2 of Computex. As you can tell, Taipei is very warm and humid this time of year, but I'm not in the exhibition hall right now. I'm at the Corsair Suite at the Grand Hyatt, and we're checking out some of their new releases, some stuff from Scuf, some stuff from Elgato, and some very cool stuff from Corsair, including a keyboard you may or may not have seen yet, but I've found it to be very surprising for a Corsair keyboard. The first thing I want to show you is the Scimitar Elite Wireless SE. This is a mobile mouse. You guys know I don't normally use mobile mice. There are 12 buttons on the side of this thing, all in this carriage that slides forward and backward. That's not new. We've seen that before. But what makes this very special is they're doing something now called Virtual Stream Deck. So imagine, if you will, these aren't just mouse buttons. Every single button here is the same functionality you would get as if you had a Stream Deck sitting on your desk. It operates in an app that floats over the application that you're using. It's amazing for games. You can do really complex keybinds and macros, but it's also really amazing for productivity. So you have all your shortcuts on your mouse hand and all your keyboard shortcuts under your left hand, which means you're never taking your hand off your mouse, you're never crossing your hands. It makes for very effective gaming and very efficient productivity work. And probably the most exciting thing today is the MAKR 75 keyboard. Yes, it's called the MAKR 75 and it's a 75% keyboard. Corsair has finally reverted to a scheme where the number actually indicates the size and the form factor and the layout on the board. Hopefully every keyboard going forward will be like this as well. I've heard it is. We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. This is a really exciting board for Corsair because this is an all aluminum chassis. There's 8 layers of sound dampening in this thing. I've spent some hands-on time with this board right here, and the first thing I can tell you, probably the most important thing, it doesn't sound like any Corsair board I've ever heard before. You can get this bare bones, you can select the switches you want, the keycaps you want, and you can do all this with their online system where you go in and you customize the board, you pick out exactly what you want. If you don't know a lot about keyboards, it's not a big deal because you can go through and it'll tell you exactly what your choices are. Like when you're talking about plate materials, you can click the info button, it'll let you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. When it comes to switches, if you don't know how those switches are going to behave or how they're going to sound, they even have a little sound test right next to them so you can get a feel for what you're putting together as you're going through it without being deep in the keyboard hobby already. They're really taking steps to make this thing modular. In the top corner here, not only do we have a 240 by 240 color LCD screen, but you can take that out and you can put a functional knob in there. You can also add wireless. So you're going to be able to add the transmitter right here and add the battery on the bottom. So you can really customize this thing exactly the way you want to. No Hall effect yet. And one of the most interesting things they've done so far is you no longer need iCUE. You can use Corsair Web Hub. And so for the first time, similar to Wooting, we have a web-based software where you can go in, do all your configuration, and then save it right to the board. So you can configure this any way you want, or you can get it bare bones. And it's going to come in at a price of $179, which I feel is a pretty aggressive, competitive price for this board right now. I have one of these waiting for me at home back in the States. I've not spent any time with it there, only here, but as soon as I get home, we'll dig into that. So stay tuned for the full review on that board. All right, that's it from the Corsair Suite today. Definitely keep your eye open for that Scimitar Elite Wireless SE mouse and the MAKR 75 keyboard. We'll be taking a look at that very soon, and we'll be back with a lot more Computex coverage.